All right, today's the day that we're gonna do the oil analysis on my shop truck. For 2021 Ram 1500 with the EcoBoost. When this vehicle reached 10,000 miles, I bought it brand new. When it reached 10,000 miles, I drained the oil and I put Signature Series in, 05 weight 20 is what the vehicle calls for. And I put the Signature Series in, and that guarantees your oil is good for 25,000 miles or a year. So what I usually do in these scenarios, you guys have been following the channel, this is about my third or fourth shop truck that I've done this to, but none of them made it past the mileage to pull the oil and do a sample. So this one here's got about 34,000 miles. I changed it at 10. So what I like to do is give myself a little leadway. Pull the oil, send it in, pull the oil sample, send it into the lab, and then when I get the report back, it's a detailed report. I don't want to make this video too technical, I just kind of want to get through it. But you'll get a report back from the Oil Analyzers Inc., that's actually the name of the company. And this is a small sample, but if you go to the website, in the search, in the top of the search engine, type in oil analysis, and you'll see that you can purchase this from Amsoil through my site, brooklinesynthetics.com. So it's a detailed report, it's in sections, they'll ask you information. You just go by the different sections and fill out all the information that they're asking for. And it's imperative that they know what oil is in it currently that you're sending a sample of, because they have the parameters of that oil and what it should be. And then they'll compare it to what, once they tested it, what it is. And they'll tell you if the oil is good to go or it needs to be changed, in addition to certain parameters that they're looking for, items that are inside your engine, items, parts. Because that's actually what the lubrication is for the contact of the moving metal parts of the different various metals. And when this happens, they leave deposits in the oil. And this is basically a fluid test. They'll test fluids. So anything that's a fluid, you can pull a sample of and send it in. They'll test it and tell you the integrity of it and if it needs to be changed or not. So with that said, quickly, once you purchase the kit from Amsoil, in order to utilize the kit, you need to make a one-time purchase. If not this, but we recommend that you get this from us, oil analysis pump. And this does, in addition to the hose that comes in the kit, they'll tell you to pull the dipstick of the vehicle. And when you do that, this is how the hose comes. It comes in, everything's wrapped in plastics to avoid contamination. So on this vehicle here, they want us to pull the dipstick and then with the hose, go twice the length of the dipstick and then cut the end off at a 45-degree angle. So quickly again, without the technicality, that's one length. And if you cut it a little bit longer, that's fine. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. They do recommend you start the vehicle up for a little while to get oil that is circulating through the engine, opposed to it's been sitting overnight and you're getting a sample from oil that didn't go through the engine recently. So I made my 45-degree cut in the hose. What I want to do with the rest is wrap it back up, and I shouldn't have let it hit the floor, but I did. So this one I will not use again, because you don't want to send in a contaminated oil sample. It'll get you a false read. But what I'll do, I'll pretend that this didn't hit the floor. I'll tell you, the flies are freaking annoying. I guess they want to be on the YouTube channel too. Put it back in the plastic, keep it from getting contaminated. But since this hit the floor, I'm not going to reuse this. You just throw this on the side. I'll find the end that I put the 45-degree cut on the angle, and I'll get the sample bottle, comes with the kit. Take the top off. Take the bottle and I screw it in the bottom of the pump. take the hose in that you did not cut, unscrew the top, stick that through, maybe quarter of a way down the bottom, tighten it up. That'll lock the seal. If you see me swap, it's the fly that wants his TV time. Take the tube, stick it down the oil dipstick tube, and use your discretion. Shove it down there till it don't go anymore. And that'll ensure that you are in oil. So I got mine, which I feel is deep enough. I'm sure if I read the instruction, it'll tell you how much, but as long as it's in oil, it should be fine. And now you're gonna take the plunger and you're gonna pull it. I'll see if I can do this so you can actually see it draw. You actually should see the oil coming up the tube. And if you look, it's starting to fill the tube. It has an arrow to tell you when to stop. So what you're doing with this, you may or may not have to do it more than once or twice, but you can see it's just filling, just on that one pull that I have. It's still filling it up. I'm just gonna keep my eye on it and make sure it does not get above the arrow. They recommend that you do not overfill it. So what I'm gonna do is as it nears the top, I'll release the seal and that should stop the suction. But it's still drawing, it's drawing it slowly. I don't know if the camera's catching that. With just the one suction pull, it's still filling up the tube. I'll give it a little help. Speed is a little. Here we go. All right, it's at the line, releasing the suction, and that should cease the draw of oil out of the oil pan. I'm gonna pull this out, but I don't wanna make a mess. You have this oil full. Just rest that there. Close this so we don't spill none. And I apologize, I should have had a rag right here. But in true Brook non-synthetic fashion, I do not, and I do not have one nearby. I do have one nearby, give me a second. Just don't wanna make a mess. I'm gonna put that there and go get a rag, put back in the car. Okay. And voila, with the magic of TV, I had a rag, I was prepared. You guys on my side, right? I had the rag there all along. So I'm gonna slowly pull the tube out of the oil dipstick and have the rag in place. So as I'm pulling the tube out, I'm wiping oil on the rag. So I'm just gonna go to the rear of the vehicle and temporarily dispose this. Be right back. All right, so now I'm back at the pump, and what I like about this system, oil never really gets in the pump. The hose goes through, and when you look underneath, it's just a little bit to wipe down. Put it back in the container to keep it from being contaminated. What I like to do at this point, just take the lid, seal it, and we'll get back, we'll place that for here, we'll get back to that. They recommend that you reinsert your dipstick and check your oil level to replace that much of oil that you removed from the engine. And we'll do that. I won't do it right now. Put the dipstick back in, make sure it's secure. I'll take my rag for now, wipe this up, and make sure there's no old oil in there that'll get in my next sample pulling to contaminate that reading. Again, soap and water, what you gotta do. But the way the tube comes down, the oil doesn't even make contact in there. Yeah, I'm just gonna clean that out in another day. Alright, so when you do buy the pump from Amsoil, off my website, Brookline Synthetics, the part is called G1206, and it gives you instructions. In addition to when you buy the kit itself, it will give you instructions. And it tells you to do exactly what I did. The pump fit in the sample tube, sample bottle in the pump. Explains that, keep that in there. So now is the fun part. You purchased your kit, you pulled your oil sample, you had your rag ready, you didn't make a mess, you topped it back off your oil level to replace what you removed, sorry. And now you pull out your instructions that come with the kit. And I recommend you buy the kit. There's two ways to buy the kit. I think you can buy it without the self-addressed postage. After you pull your sample, you have to get the sample back to the lab. Or I like to buy the kit with the postage already on it. So the most I have to do after I pull my sample is come to the sheet that comes with the kit. And this is the information that they're asking you to fill out. So you fill it all out, like I showed you on the sample paper. There's stickers that you have to put some information to, the component ID, which comes in the kit on this form. They want you to write that in, the date you took the sample, and you got a tracking number on there. And they even give you a barcode that you keep for your records in case there's an issue if the sample got lost or not. Then you peel off the sticker, Oil Analysis Laboratories with their address. They're in 3060 California Avenue, Suite B, Salt Lake City, Utah. And you take that off and you'll wrap it on the sample with the date, and then they have a label for you to put in the sample bag. Make sure your top is secure. Put your thing over the top of it. I believe that's how you do it. Put it in the bag, and then you go to whichever carrier that's listed to submit your sample to. And like I said, I like to get the ones with the prepaid label, which I have. So once the sample's in the bag and secured, I'll put that in, and I'm gonna be dropping this off to UPS Ground. You have an option to either, well, you have to put the information in manually, but you can get your results back through the email. And once you read your instructions on how to do that, you'll be able to fulfill that, and that's a choice of yours. So that pretty much wraps up the oil analysis on the shop truck. Like I said, I changed the oil when it had 10,000 miles, and I got 34,000 miles on it now. Gives me a little leeway. Pull the sample, send that into the lab, and the lab will send me back a detailed report, highlighting anything that they find irregular in the oil. If the cam is wearing down prematurely, that will show up. If there's a head gasket leak, that shows up, and that'll raise the levels of particulates that's in the oil that shouldn't be. Of course, they're gonna check the viscosity and the integrity of the oil. And if they discover that the oil is still intact with the parameters of this particular oil, which is our signature series, they'll tell me, keep driving. Put another 10,000 miles, put another 5,000 miles, put whatever miles they say, and submit another sample. It beats changing oil blindly. It prevents breakdowns that are around the corner that you may not know about. It tells you a lot. To me, it's like a report card of the engine, or whatever you're pulling a sample of. It really is a snapshot. You can see what's going on with the item. And again, if they tell me that the oil is good, it's still close to the parameters that it came out of the bottle of when I first put it in. Close the hood, keep driving, and guess what? I didn't change oil. I saved myself some money. And that's some of the benefits of using the signature series, is to extend the oil drain levels, intervals. So you won't be changing oil as often. You may pay a little bit more, but you won't be changing the oil as often as you did using a far less superior item. So the choice is yours. A few people was asking me about the oil analysis and how did that work, and I told them I would be doing a video soon. So this is the video. I apologize if it's not up to par to those who think I should have did more. But I needed to get the oil changed because this thing's going back on the highway for about another week. And if, at the end of the week. And if the oil's not up to par, I'll be doing an oil change. But if they say keep on driving, close the hood, and away I go. So stay tuned. More videos coming up, more activities coming up. You guys know anything on the East Coast you want me to come to and film, shoot out graduations, whatever, shoot me an email, shoot me a comment on the YouTube channel. Next time.